Buena Park is in the building. Buena Park? What's the deal? Nothing but the homies out there. Nothing but the homies. What's up with the homies?
Who poppin', we poppin', we major.
Welcome back to the show where anything goes. I'm your host, Mark Vargas, and you're tuned into the Centerlocked show. And we got a very, very, very special guest in the building, Mr. Eric Barriere, quarterback from Eastern Washington University. Everybody, welcome Eric to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, man, we go back a little bit. You know, we played against each other in high school, and before the fame took over, before the accolades started coming in, and we went to war against each other. And you know, I mean, I've always kept the eye on you. You know, I mean, and see what you were doing on the field and doing off the field. And man, I just first off want to say, man, like congratulations to everything you've gotten so far, bro. And like really, you got a whole army behind you, a whole family, an extended family supporting you. And man, appreciate you for coming on the show, bro.
Oh, yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. For
So let's start this show off. You know what I mean? Let's get to it. The first question I always ask everybody, man, is when did you start playing ball?
okay, so my first time like playing football was 7. First, like getting into youth sports and stuff like that was 7. But I was like first time playing any sports was I was 4. I started playing baseball first.
Okay. So I mean that led directly into my second question is if you played any other sports. But do you think that's a positive, or do you think, people should just focus on one sport, or do you think, people should try to, play a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
No, I think it's a positive because especially when you're young too, you're active, you're doing different things, meeting different people within these sports, and you never know what sport you might like. So that's why I think it's nice to, as a kid, try different sports because you never know which one you'll like. And then once you get older, you find which sport that you truly love, then that's the one you dedicated to.
Okay, for sure. So that leads exactly. I mean, you're leading up into our next question, man. So, when did you start to when did you know, you know what, football is, there's something else to football that maybe these other sports, or maybe I need to start focusing more on this.
It was probably like after my freshman year of high school because I was playing basketball a little bit too, so I played basketball my freshman year. But then I don't know, I just thought I played basketball. I knew I was good, but I knew I wasn't like that good. But I knew I was really good at football, so I just put all into football, and it ended up working out.
Did you have the support, when you said, you know what, I'm directly let's get this football thing going? Did you feel the support behind you from family, friends, or was this something you just kind of, you know what, this is my decision and we're just gonna roll with it?
Oh no, I always have to support, my mom and aunties and stuff like that. They've been supporting me since I was a kid, so that hasn't really changed. And once I finally, committed to football, they was all in.
So we get, you played youth ball for the Pop Warner, whatever it was, Um, were you always above? Because I mean, playing against you, bro, you were always the most shiftiest, and then out of nowhere you throw the ball 80 yards in the air. You know, was it coming easy to you, or what on that aspect of it, not just the decision, but when you were playing, was it oh, you know what, I'm just a athlete out here,
Yeah. It's what's crazy is that in the beginning, I didn't really like football like that when I first started, So and then I think just as time got on, just being a kid, just being outside playing and stuff, I remember watching Reggie Bush, seeing him do different things, back juice and stuff like that. So I remember practicing different things in my backyard when I was a kid and doing different things like that. But all that stuff translated as I got older, and then just all just second nature to me.
For sure. So we got to high school. I think it was You ended up playing VAR as a freshman too, right? Like I think your
Yeah,
first game was against Boyner Park, right? Wasn't it?
yeah.
I remember like the freshmen playing you guys, and they were like, "Dude, the quarterback's crazy! Like he's so good." And like it was like you guys were like a high scoring game or something like that at the
Mhm.
freshman game, and then you ended up playing the varsity game like the next day, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember, like was that a shock to you, or was that like I know right away? I mean, you look like nothing ever affected you. You know what I mean? Like you just, like I said, you're always probably one of the best athletes on the field, but like you're always had like that demeanor that like nothing bothered you. You know, like whether it's a an interception if you threw one, or a turnover, or if the defense let up a touchdown, whatever it was, you'll come back and just kind of right always back into it. So like as a freshman, did that affect you, or were you ready to go?
Um, no, I'll say freshman. I'll never forget this. I remember we was playing against y'all, and I think it was we had did a reverse or something like that. I remember I gave the reverse to the receiver, and as I gave the reverse to the receiver, the DN came and hit me and swung me down. And I remember that kind of traumatized me a little bit. I didn't want to, because I remember that next play, the coach was telling me to run the ball and stuff like that. But I was like, nah, let me just hand the ball off and stuff like that. So I did have a little bit of nerves, as a freshman out in varsity. But as the game went on, as league went on, like my nerves calmed down.
And so, yeah, man, like people that don't know, bro, like you guys, I mean, for those tuning in that have no clue about what we're talking about La Habra High School football, one of the best, I mean, public school programs, not just in, the Southern California area. We're talking about California. And then even if I would take La Habra against a lot of public
Oh
schools
yeah,
around the country, you know what I mean? Like Coach Mazzota, I mean, really since he's gotten there, has put out nothing but dogs, teams that are filled with Division I talent, Division II, D3, college talent all around, and then you guys even have a couple players in the league, and continuing that tradition going on over there. And so that leads into, at least my experiences with you. You know what I mean? Your sophomore year, my junior year, that was a
I was,
great, that was one of the best games. I mean,
yeah,
still today, like that. I mean, sold out at your stadium, the league title on the line. I mean, there's not many, like you can't set it up better. You know what I mean? Unless it was for like the CIF championship, you know what I mean? But
hmm
I mean, you guys had a squad. Don was your left tackle. You had
oh
Greg
yeah,
James on your team. I mean, Tristan De La Rosa, like nose
yeah.
guard, bro.
We had some dudes for real.
Alex Bush was still
Yeah,
there. Wheeler.
DJ.
I mean, all you guys, bro.
Yeah.
Mo was still there. Like you guys had a squad, and I mean, leading it like as a sophomore, and that was the ridiculous thing about it all. You know what I mean? Like all these players I named went on to go play college football, all across some, Greg Gans plays for the Rams, like
Yeah.
you were leading them as a sophomore, as a captain coming out into that field. I remember like, oh, this dude's cold. You always had that little, was it the jump hop you do? Like you
Yeah.
did something like and the only one I could ever say, and shout out to my boy, it would be Cifuentes. That's the only one that would be ever like able to stop it because he would just stay so low to the ground. You know what I mean?
Real. Yeah.
But like everybody else, you were just running around, and like I said, you just run into the left, all right, throw it. Run into the right, throw it. And it was just, just a great experience playing against you in that game. But like when because you see a lot of day, you see a lot of it today. A lot of these young quarterbacks that get thrown into the pressure moment. You know what I mean? How did you always find that thing to look for, to get in your head that always kept your mind straight? You know what I mean? How did you learn that leadership? Because I think a lot of people are missing out in that aspect of the world today. Is that there's a bunch of followers,
Oh yeah. Facts.
how do you learn how to be a leader? Where did that come from?
Um, well, it comes from my mom. Just hearing her, go through things, but also, her telling me different things and stuff like that. Because, I growing up, you don't really know too much as a kid. You just kind of see different things and see, what kind of go on. But then you also gotta know like what's your own purpose too. So kind of like as I start to like get like as a teenager, like 11, 12, 13, I started to like know like my identity and like know like who I was and stuff like that. So I just think it comes down to like people like truly knowing who they self are and not trying to be something that they're really not, and just stick to the script and stick to what they know. And because as a leader, you're not gonna always be right, and people gonna always say stuff, and people gonna always, not agree with you. So that stuff you gotta block out. But that stuff you gotta block out as a leader, because as long as you can, get a couple ears or like a couple people listen, that's all it takes. Because all it takes is like 3-4 people to listen to you. Then that 3-4 people is gonna grow to more and more, and just a cycle.
You're right, man. I mean, hit it right on, bro. Um, Another part I'm curious about, I always ask all the guests that come on is, did you have like a circle, like a solid foundation of core that, I think you kind of mentioned it, your family was always big with you, but like,
Mhm.
how important is it to have that close circle that you can depend on when things get tough, or even when things are going great, people to celebrate with you that are close? Like, how important is that?
It's really important, because sometimes you get, you have stressful times too, so stressful moments, so you can't do everything by yourself. So just to having that huge support system is like for me, just growing up in the inner city and stuff like that. My mom kept me away from a lot of things and stuff like that, and her doing that like kind of helped me, because I wanted to have fun and stuff, be a kid, but she saw something else in me, and she made sure I wasn't doing things I was supposed to do. So I just think having the right support system and people trying to help you out and not like fall into their footsteps, or no, just stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's another, you hit it on right on again. It is important, man. We see, I mean, from our close area and our district, we've seen people that slipped up, and it's because they're at the wrong circle. You know what I mean? Like, it's people are very, malleable out there. People are very easy to convince, easy to control. And, I always tell people, like, make sure that, the people whoever you hang out with, that's a direct representation of who you are. You know what I mean? If you're hanging
Yeah,
out with people that don't have, the best interest of, you're not going to have the best interest of yourself. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, absolutely, man. So before we move on, I really
yeah,
want to talk on like La Habra, because like
yeah.
how how was it there? Because really, you guys were expected to win. That was the thing. Like going into La Habra, I mean, you guys had Sonora, but like I think the view of you guys is you guys were very respected across the board. Is you wanted to beat teams. You wanted, we wanted to smack Fullerton around every year. You know what I mean? And that was
Yeah.
like circle. You guys was more of a, what, we're gonna see where we are, who we are when we play you guys. So like I was always curious about it from the outside, like from the opposite side. Like how did you guys prepare for, because you guys, I mean, you weren't part of the team that lost, and I wasn't part of the team that beat you guys, but like you guys won, like, what was it, 4 or 5 years in the league without losing, and probably even
Yeah.
more, I think it was. But I mean, without losing a league game, that's, to me, is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just goes down to like preparation and just people, caring about each other, caring about the logo when what's on their back, because a lot of my teammates and stuff was from La Harbor and stuff like that. So, they grew up seeing Ronnie Hillman and like all them players, and Kyle Pecco and all them and stuff like that, watching their games. So, just when I got over there and just seeing like how the culture was over there, and just like how family and close like everybody was, I think it just showed on the football field, because it shows. I feel like it shows at our games too. How like the crowd, you always gonna have a packed La Habra crowd at a home or away game. It don't matter where it's at. They travel real big. So I just think it just comes down to just that community. It's a nice community. Like people care about the players, people care about the kids. So.
And well, I have one last question before we move on to our entertainment side of the podcast. So your junior year, my senior year, and you know, I had a lot of people message me this question, and I had to tell them, all right, relax. I'll ask them, you know, I'm probably going to agree with you because I've seen all angles of this play. Was your knee down?
Nah. I felt like as I got hit, I literally felt myself rolling over everybody. So like as I'm like rolling over, I put my palm down, my left palm down. I see that I'm not on the ground, just sitting on top of somebody. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not down. Let me get right up. And just like that.
No, that was one of the, I mean, in the moment, you got to see if it was the other side, or, you know, if you were on the other side of it, you would have been, oh, hell no. You know, they rigging us, you know what I mean? They want to see us lose. But there was one angle. I think it might have been like your highlights or something. And it was the end zone camera. And all we had was the backside, you know, where we saw your numbers. But there was one that was facing you. And yeah, you could clearly see it. Your knee was not down. I roll with it when I'm talking about, oh yeah, man, the knee was down, you know. Yeah. But put it out in public. You were up, you were still good. But I mean, first off, before we do go on, is those are two great games, and you know what I mean, that was a hell of a battles. You know what I mean? Those were two battles that I always tell people, like, you know what, even though we took the L in those games, like, I mean, Carlos had great games. I mean, Tourville, like all those, man, those were battles that I always, will continue to tell. Like, I'm coaching now and I say, you know what, like this situation will pop up. You got to be ready to go. Play through that whistle. Like everybody always says, oh, you got to, whistle the whistle. Hey, that happened in that situation. You know what I mean? So
my favorite battle was definitely my sophomore year. Because we was up, I think, and out of nowhere, like as soon as it started the second half, y'all started firing on us, like boom, boom. I was like, oh, we about to lose. But luckily, that was crazy.
I'm gonna be real. That second, because look, we came out, and I mean, you guys were huge, bro. You guys were, like I said, I named, Toa, Greg, De La Rosa, like you guys were huge. Even had a Lomeli at the end, I think was on that team. We came out, we had a pretty big size, so we're like, all right, but that crowd playing in La Habra on a Friday night, and the old stadium too.
Hey, the old stadium for real.
Yeah, I love the new stadium, and I'm the same thing. At Buena Park, we got a new stadium, and it's amazing. You know what I mean? But that you guys were literally on the field, like it was you. No, I remember you guys. You guys came out to was it Beware, or you guys came out to? It was some song you guys came out to, and you guys had the fog, the fire extinguisher, and I was like, oh man, here we go. And then I think that you guys were up like 21 zip.
That's what I was about to say, 21 zip.
We were at halftime, like, you know what, we can hang with them. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't blowing us out. Like, we were moving the ball. Just think we had a missed field goal and a bunch of different things. You know what I mean? And then you guys did give us some extra penalty yardage that we did appreciate. But, I mean, I think Boston scored one. And then we have that flea flicker that, like, hey,
that was nice.
Hey, I'm gonna be real. Like, I played in conference championships in college and big games as well. I ain't never heard a stadium get so quiet. Where like literally when the ball was in the air, like you were there, you could hear a pin drop like on in the middle of a game. Like it was complete silence, and everybody, like the 22 on the field and whatever we had on the sideline and the whole stadium. Everybody was crazy on that ball. And then when Nick caught it, oh man, it was just exploded. Like exploding. And then it was just a ball game from that point on. It was just a chess game. And I think Coach Mazzotta, been there, done that before. Him running that fake punt, or I think it was a fake punt, whatever it was, and your backup just threw that dime, and I was like, oh, we had y'all, and then then we even drove down the field, and we were right there, and then that play too, when Nick just got sandwiched between like four people, that was that was, if there was anything like a movie, it was for sure that game, because like we had everybody there. I mean, maybe not, maybe for me, but for you, I mean, you guys had your senior year. I mean, all those Hail Marys you guys were doing, and I mean, that was nuts right there. Just watching, I was like, how the heck blew us out? I mean, it was just, you guys were a special team that year.
My senior year, it was nice. I don't look, but like I was saying, like all that comes from just like, because a lot of people don't know, a lot of that stuff come from like team bonding, working hard and grinding in the summer and stuff like that. Because you gotta think like high school, after we done in the fall, we got in there October, December to all that time. So you just working out, grinding it with each other, and that's a moment where a lot of players and a lot of high school people gotta appreciate, because you don't get moments like that often. Just grinding with your brothers, especially in high school.
Yeah, and shout out to the Highlanders down in La Habra, expected to have another big year this year with the new stadium, the post-COVID everything. Hopefully everything stays good. And, shout out to the Freeway League as well. Everybody, Coach David at Boynton Park, hope everything turns out for you. Sunny Hill's been making moves, Fullerton, everybody's on the rise. And at the end of the day, we just want to see the kids shine, kids be able to make those moves to change their family,
Yeah.
But let's get on to this entertainment. Everybody always likes this part of the segment. It's a completely, I always think of these. I look some questions up, or I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask this guy this question. So I got these 3 questions for you. Really, they are out of just the mind of Mark Vargas, just completely. I wanted to see what you feel about these. All right. And you can elaborate on how much you want, whatever. All right. So the first question, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No. I know the people I don't think it's a sandwich, but I know people consider it a sandwich. I just always.
What do you consider a sandwich? What's the definition of
like what they say is 2 buns, whatever, then something in the middle. So I don't know, I guess, but I wouldn't consider a hot dog a sandwich.
Okay, I got you on that one. And the next one is for our, we have a lot of people, sports, we all know what it is. Sports and music go hand in hand. Without the other, you don't really got anything to pump up to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put our listeners onto an artist that you think they should be listening to.
It's a lot of artists out there, but I probably it's a dude named like Doe. His name like Doe Beezy. He got a song called Chirac Baby with G Herbo. Pretty good song. Then he got other songs too. Just gotta listen to them.
Okay. I'll put that in there and make sure people tap in with that. And then the last question, our entertainment segment. All right. It's not just for your life. You can go back anybody's life, anytime. Would you rather go back in time to any moment or go to the future for any moment?
I go back in time. I feel like them 90s and 80s was wild, and I definitely want to experience something like that.
Hey, there you go. That's that. Personally, that's a tough one. I would like to go back in time, but you know what? Maybe going to the future would be cool and bring back something. Who knows? But that's it for the first part of this segment. When we come back, we're talking Eastern Washington football. We're talking all the awards that Eric has won and how he continues to focus on what's coming up next rather than get caught in the hype. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Use promo code SIDELINE10 to receive 10% off all of your graphic design needs, logos, pictures, business cards, anything that you need. Contact Matthew Cifuentes at Matt2Cifi.
Welcome back to the Centerlocked show. I'm sitting right here with my boy, the one and only Eric Barriere. And we're about to get into it right now. We're about to talk some Eastern Washington football. But first, hey, Eric, let everybody know how you doing right now, man. Like, what's going on with you right now, my boy?
I'm doing good. Just training, getting ready for the season. Just working with the guys, trying to get some timing down, but also just enjoying myself too, because gotta relax because I'm about to be busy once fall camp start.
That's right, man. You're gonna turn that switch. So, talk about Eastern Washington. So, you won CIF senior year of high school. Did you already know where you were going at that point, or was it still like, were you still trying to figure out everything?
I was still trying to figure out everything. I didn't. I committed. I think I committed to Eastern the night before signing day. Yeah, so like I wasn't for sure like on where I really wanted to go because it was either out of Hawaii or Eastern because I took trips to both schools, but also took a trip to SAC. So I was thinking about that, but I thought Eastern was the best decision out of all of them.
And when you got there, it's just like anything in life, you know what I mean? You got to have that adjustment period. How did that adjustment period go for you?
It was difficult, definitely difficult. That it was because I had a roommate. He was from Arizona, and then I say like towards this is our first time experiencing fall camp and stuff, so that was difficult. And then after camp, the weather is not really good out here, so kind of as it got to like October, November, we started dealing with like winter storms and stuff like that, snow and different things like that. So I had to get used to climate change and different things like that. But then also missing my family and not being able to see my mom and sister for the first time consistently, it definitely hurt me. So it took a lot to, adjust. But kind of like as the year went on and stuff like that next school year, I kind of like wasn't tripping no more because I realized what I was there for,
Yeah, I mean, anybody that tells you, "Oh man, you're not gonna get homesick," it is a lie, bro.
Hey,
Like you get homesick. That's a real thing. Everybody goes through it. You just, like you said, you just got to figure out a few things, and even if you got it all figured out, bro, like you not having your family around, or I was in Chicago too, so you know what I mean. Like I was out in the freezing temperatures, and you seeing everybody back home. Christmas time, they outside, no snow, no nothing. You're like, man, what am I doing? You start to question yourself, and you hit it right on. Like you gotta focus on what you're there for, and you gotta really. That's one of the first times you really gotta think long term goal rather than short term, and So when you were at once you got dialed in, once everything started to click, when did you start to hit the field? Like when was that like, all right, I'm there now?
So like my first ever start was back in 2017. It was towards the end of the year because a situation had happened with the starting quarterback, and I had to start that week. So that was actually my first start ever playing, and we ended up winning that game. And then that following year, I went into the season as the backup, and I want to say like the 5th or 6th game, he ended up messing up his toe, and I had to take over right then and there. And I remember my first start was against Southern Utah, and just from Southern Utah, from there it just kind of grew ever since. Like, cause like obviously I had my moments because that following week we played Weber State, and I played one of my worst games ever. So I have definitely had some growing pains throughout the process. But like once I finally started to get, settle my feet in, it was probably like that UC Davis game in 2018, and then went from UC Davis. We just kind of went on a roller coaster ride, and, went on a run in the playoffs and ended up making it to the national championship.
And I mean, just that what you're saying right there, making a run to the national championship right there. You know what I mean? Like, how difficult is that? People, you know what I mean? People's like watching TV, you know what I mean? You watching TV like, oh man, all right, they going to the ship. You know what I mean? Like people don't really understand how hard it is. Like so many things got to go right. It's not luck, but in a way, it almost is luck. People
Yeah.
got to stay healthy. People got to, when you're playing a certain team, they might not be as healthy as you are, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, explain how difficult that is.
I know it's definitely difficult because what's crazy is with that 2018 team that we had injuries and stuff like kind of like throughout the season, but we got hit with some real bad injuries on our defensive side. Our last game of the season where we had lost our starting free safety. One of our linebackers I was in rotation ended up getting hurt, and all those injuries were season-ending injuries. So freaking, we had to deal with stuff like that. But like it all, like I'm gonna go back to it, but it all just started in the summer because it all takes leadership and people, all coming together for one goal. And in the 2018, I remember they all wanted that one goal, wanted to reach the national championship because I remember their slogan was "Natty or Bust." And we kept that thing throughout the whole year, and we ended up making it to the Natty. Like obviously we didn't win it, but just to get there and just like how we got there and the teams that we had to face to get there was special.
And you guys played, was it who did you guys play in North Dakota State, right?
North Dakota State, yeah.
I mean, and that right there, I mean, they've been producing. I mean, did you play against old boy with the Niners now or
No, I didn't play against him
okay?
because I think he was a red shirt when I was started that 2018.
Okay. So I mean, you guys that's 2018, right? 2019 came along, and what happened that year? What was the
2019 came, I became the official starter, and we didn't start off too good as a team. Our first game was against UW. We lost that game. Then came back and played a Division II school, and then kind of what I think was our turning point of our season was the Jacksonville State game because we was up a pretty decent amount against them, and then but turnovers and stuff like that and not playing good ended up bringing them back in the game, and we ended up losing that game like 45-42. And just from there, our season was kind of like a roller coaster until like I want to say like the last 4 games, we went on a 4-game win streak, and we ended up going 7-5, but or 7-5 or 7-4, but it still wasn't enough, and we ended up losing the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs, but as far as like personal stuff, I had a decent season, just for like my first time officially starting and stuff. But I feel like I still had a lot more work to do and stuff.
so then 2019 season? You said you had a good solid year. Team wise, you guys could have done better. So boom, COVID hits right out of nowhere. Everything, I mean, nobody expected it. If it did, hey, let me know who wins the Super Bowl next year. We'll, go put a bet down right now. But so you're there, COVID hits, you know what I mean? When, how did that affect you? How did that affect, just like, that's your senior year,
Yeah.
like it must have thrown everything off. And like preparation wise, like by this time, I mean, I remember when I was my, third year in college, like, when it's certain times, all right, this time of the year, all right, I got to start focusing on this, all right, it's time to really get that body, start tuning it in, start, all right, hitting the playbook hard, start hitting the film hard. Like you can't go, and people want to say like, oh, we go hard the whole year.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? It's like you're gonna just overwork your body. By the time when you really need it, it's not gonna be there where where you want it to. So you need that time to recover and all that. But all that throws into your senior year. Like, what are you thinking? Like, where are you at? Like, man.
So like I really wasn't sure what was gonna happen because it was still just a lot of uncertainty because we was in that early stage of COVID, so really nobody didn't know what was gonna happen. So like my whole thing was I wanted to continue to work out because like I knew if I was continuing to work out and stuff like that, if we did have a season or something, I'd be ready physically. So I mentally, I tried to have that focus on just if the season come or whenever it come, just be ready, make sure that I'm ready. Because even I want to say we was out that time, but we ended up coming back as a team, like the seniors and stuff. We came back like June 14th or something, June 13th. We was working from like June to like September, and we didn't know if we was gonna have a season or not. But that whole time we were just working, getting mentally, physically ready. Because if they did say we was gonna have a season, we was gonna be ready. Because they was trying to say if we can start in October, November, like all this other stuff. So it was a lot of uncertainty. But and then once they started talking about the extra year and stuff like that, that would kind of like made it a lot more, my mind relaxed because I knew in the back of my head like they was gonna give us an extra year because they did it for the spring sports, basketball and all that other stuff. So why wouldn't they give it to us?
Yeah. So you guys had a unique year, you know what I mean? A unique season. When was your first game? Like, let's let people, when was that first game?
Our first game was, when was it? Like February, I think. February, March, something like that. It's been a crazy year, man.
Completely off, you know what I mean? You're playing a game when it's, you guys are in winter, so you're really not really seeing that regularly. So
Yeah.
how did you like weather the storm, literally and figuratively? You know what I mean? How did you to weather all that to have a year like you guys did last year?
Oh, it's just, just putting in the work, putting in the time and work, and dedicating ourselves to a bigger goal. Something bigger than us. And I think it just showed because you had teams that was opting out, or you had teams that was catching COVID and stuff like that. But the whole time, like our team and stuff like that, we didn't have any body like missing games or like that because of COVID. We didn't have to cancel any games because of COVID. So that definitely just the determination, just hard work, definitely the camaraderie definitely helped with the season. And then just like with me, I knew I knew it was my senior year. So like, I know I got to go out with a bang, like anyway, because like, I don't like my mindset is like different than a lot of people. So like, I just, whatever I got to do or whenever I'm putting my all into something, like, I don't know, like I don't know, bro, but it's just crazy how everything worked out. And because like you never know what can happen. Like all you can do is just focus on the now and focus on what you can do. But when that time comes and when stuff happen, like it just all like a shock because like obviously you believe it and you think like you can do it, but when it actually does happen, it's just like dang, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like COVID, even like like you said, never want to look back, look forward. Like COVID, like really made that a reality. You didn't know what was going to happen next week. You didn't know, what, down the line, are we going to play a complete season? Are we going to be able to practice on third? You know what I mean? Like that was, that would have been a unique thing for, to be able to play through,
Oh, and then all the COVID tests too. Like we took like over, I think like our coach said something over like 2,000 COVID tests. Like,
you guys testing what, daily, right? Or
it was like every Wednesday or something like that. But we've been testing, I think, since like October or something like that. October something. So it was been a minute.
Yeah. No, I got a couple COVID tests and man, that was not
somebody shoving stuff in your nose. Yeah, that's not cool.
Man, right. Me and my fiance got one, and she's like, "I'll go first." And I was like, "No, I'll go first." And she's like, "Oh, I thought it was the worst decision seeing that they like put the thing in your nose." And I was like, "Oh man, like, yeah, it wasn't fun." But like you guys said, it was a sacrifice you guys were committed to making. You guys were committed to doing the little things because you guys ended up having a really solid season last year.
Yeah.
Like making the run that you guys did was really fantastic to see because everything going on, that was a few months ago. That wasn't possible, So
Mhm.
let's transition into, you know, all these awards that were starting to come in. You know what I mean? Like all that hard work. And I had a little brief conversation with you earlier before we started was like you put a lot of work in. Like that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't, oh, this and that, but like you put in that work in. Like, how does it feel to see your name amongst certain players and to see your name, you know, really in the media all over, like in a positive light? Like, what's your take on it?
I know, yeah, it's very, very humbling, very grateful just to see that stuff because I don't know, like I be thinking like some of that stuff not possible, just like being just like I don't know, just growing up and stuff like that. Cause I always thought about it, but I never like knew it could all happen and come to light. So just seeing all this stuff, it just happening to me, I just gotta take it all as blessings.
What was, we can, I'll throw in a couple of the pictures of what you won and what you were nominated as and all the first teams that you were part of. But what was probably the one award that you were happy or accomplishment that you were happy to have?
Uh, the one award probably winning Big Sky MVP because that's a coaches and stuff going for that stuff. So that's respect. They obviously respect my game and stuff like that. And they paying attention. So that definitely means something to me.
And what's one award that you now, maybe didn't get last year that you're, and that's the thing, bro. Like, look, like this is my take. This ain't attached to Eric or like, bro, you want to be the best player out there. You know what I mean? Because if you're the best player, you helping your team. You know what I mean? Like it's to that point where like LeBron is the best player, has been the best player, and for how long? And it's because he puts that work in. He takes that time to do the little things right. A lot of people want to say this and that, oh, LeBron this, but LeBron was in the championship for 10 years in a row. That just
Yeah.
like we just talked about how hard it is to go to a championship. Like those are professional players, those are amazing athletes, and to be at the top of his game, like he said, he wants that respect. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
with that, like, what would you want to go out? Like, if you had your ideal situation, what would you go out with?
I think just to win a national championship. But I think when it all like come down and set in stone, I think everything that I envisioned myself doing in college and stuff like that, I think it's gonna happen because I'm slowly doing all of it, and it started with everything last year, and now I just gotta finish this year.
Absolutely, man. Like you are, I mean, I'm somebody that speaks it into existence. You know what I mean? Like I'm somebody that really believes in that. Like, man, you guys are gonna have a great year. You know what I mean? Like the hard work you guys been putting in, everything you guys had to go through, like it's time to go cash it in. You know what I mean?
Like,
Like that's that.
for real.
You know what I mean? Like there's nobody ever wants to have a losing year. You know what I mean? Nobody ever wants that. Like now that one of my main things is to allow people to have a platform to speak, to share their story, and also to like, tell people like how I feel sometimes. And like people always have the mindset if players have a bad year or a bad team doesn't have a performing year that they should have. No, the players don't want that. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants
Yeah.
to have that year. Like so. Let's go get those dubs this year. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Got to. And we play a good schedule too. So we start off with UNLV the first game.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be good.
You guys in Vegas or you
Oh
guys?
yeah. We in Vegas September 2nd.
Oh, okay. You can go play a Raiders. Was it Allegiant Stadium right there
Yeah.
in Las Vegas?
Hey,
That's
fresh
big.
too. 2 years in.
What's the swag you got for that game? You guys know what you're gonna wear yet, or is
Uh
it gonna a
not yeah,
TBD?
not sure yet.
Okay. Well, you gonna go with the one sleeve swag? You gonna go with the
No, I kinda keep it simple, just kinda I just let my play do the talking.
That's right. That's right. Another question I had about Eastern Washington was, you guys, what city do you guys play in? What do you guys like? I've seen Moscow, or like, was that where you guys play at, or that what they call the field, or what?
Uh, well, no, we play in Cheney, Washington, but we in Cheney and like Spokane's like 20, 30 minutes away. But then the next city over is like Moscow and Pullman. So we right by Washington State and we right by Idaho.
Okay, no,
So
definitely.
yeah, we all like in an hour radius, and we all just right by each other.
Any cool things about Washington that you want people to know about? You know?
I mean, it's green. It's a lot of green over here. It's the air good, not no bad air. You're gonna get some fresh air. But for the most part, I like I haven't like traveled that much throughout. I haven't really seen a lot of Washington since I've been here. But it's a beautiful state though, definitely.
Oh, definitely, man. That's what's up. Well, my boy Eric, man, this was to be honest, bro, this was a great conversation. We got some closure on the knee down and all of that. It was up, it was not down. And at the same time, we hopefully your fans, fans of Eastern Washington football and the fans of the Centerlocked show, got to have an in-depth look at what goes on in the mind of Eric Barriere and the whole, this story of what's been going on the past couple of years with you and your squad. But, we got to end it. We can start ending today's conversation, but we come into a part that a lot of our fans love. This is part that we get a little bit more a little bit about you, as well as, working on to the next episode. So first things first, right? I'm going to read you 4 names. All right. You can say a quick answer, or you can even say what that person means to you. Like, this is all up to you. As always, I didn't let you know these names. You don't even know what's about to hit you right now. So the first name I got is Vernon Adams.
Big bro, for sure.
The second name, well, it's not really a name, but a title, Coach Mazzota.
First, that's like a father figure for sure. He definitely helped me out a lot.
Next name, Coach Aaron Best.
Definitely, he's someone that's important to me too. We have had many conversations and stuff that he has helped me grow a lot too.
And the last one, Eric Barriere.
Humble. That's all. I'm grateful. I'm a humble, grateful person. That's how I am. And I don't talk a lot either. So humble, grateful,
you let
quiet.
that play talk. That's what's up, man. All right. So the next part of this conclusion is I sent you 2 photos. I DM'd them to you from your Instagram. Right. I looked through it, got you on Twitter, Instagram, all that. I thought these 2 photos would mean a good thing to you, and I would like to see what your take on it is. So the first one, what's that? What are we looking at right there?
The picture with Jesse, me and Jesse. Yeah, that picture, just Jesse, he done a lot for me, because he honestly is the reason why I went to La Habra, because he had, watched one of my All-Star games and Pop Warner, and ever since then, we kind of build a connection and stuff. And I used to go out to La Habra and stuff, check out the campus, and then it went from, him extending, me getting out to La Habra to him sometimes picking me up and stuff when my mom and stuff couldn't take me to school, just him traveling back and forth when he didn't have to. And he definitely has done a lot for me and has helped me, be a better person and want more in life, because like Jesse is a great person, and he does a lot of different things and a lot of stuff for the community or different stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for him. Grateful for him coming into my life.
That's what's up. Shout out to Jesse, man. We need more people like that out there, man. Take these young guys under your wing, and look, I mean, we're at that age now where we're gonna start having these young guys come around, and it's a big thing, man. We got to continue to support the younger generations. Like last week with my boy Burdell, that was the thing. Like all this stuff is cool. You know what I mean? All these accomplishments, but like if we ain't passing it on to the next generation, making sure they can continue it, like what's it worth? You know what I mean?
Bro, it's all about giving back. Facts.
100%. All right, so the second picture is a little throwback picture, but it's a big accomplishment right there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you were somebody you love.
Oh, yeah. I know, yeah, just my mom, just me graduating high school was a huge accomplishment, especially since I'm like, it's only me and my sister, but I'm her only son, so especially a mom having, her only son, they're going to protect them, stuff like that. So just her, just doing that accomplishment and just her seeing me graduate was a special moment.
All right, man. I mean, shout out to moms. I mean, she did a great job raising you. I know everybody that had a hand in that. I mean, you're proving them, you're making them happy. I know that for sure. All right, man, my dude. So this is the part that we have for you right now. Let everybody know where they can find you, how they get in touch with you, how to support whatever you got going on. This is all for you right here.
Oh yeah, just you can find me on Twitter at _EB3 or on Instagram _EB3. But yeah, I'm always available. Like if anybody want to talk or something like that, my DMs or anything like that is always open because I know how it can be sometimes. Not having somebody or you thinking like, oh, if you reach out to this person, they might not respond and stuff like that. But if stuff is genuine, and people really want to have a conversation and stuff like that, like I'm always open to stuff like that.
And shout out to you, man. That's big right there. All right, last question I got for you, my boy. So I asked everybody, this is part of coming on the Centerlocked show. You know what I mean? So I'm going to ask you, man, who do you want to see on the Centerlocked show? But you got to help me get them on the show.
Okay. Who do I want? It's a good question. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody, man. Anybody you think that has a good story, anybody that you got to help me get them on. You know what I mean?
I think his name is hold on. Let me give me some time. Hold on. His name Justin Prince. I think like we played with each other and stuff like on 7-on-7 and stuff. He went to Norbar, and I just but I think he played for UTEP now. But a lot of people and stuff like that. Obviously, you don't connect with people because everybody's busy. But I always see a lot of people doing stuff from afar and stuff like that. So I think he'll be somebody good to get on the show.
All right, for sure. I got you, man. Eric, man, I appreciate you spending some time with me. We go back, like I said, and you always got a fan. If you don't got no fans, you always got one fan. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that.
Definitely, man. Just continue to be you, bro. And we'll make sure everybody taps in with you. Everybody continues to support you and just continue to be you, my bro.
Oh, yeah, appreciate that, bro. For real. Thank you for having me, too.
And anytime, man. Anytime. I'm gonna hit you back up in a couple months when we're gonna be talking about this this amazing year that you had.
Yeah.
My guys, my fans, my supporters, everything out there. I mean, hey, we're over 300 subscribers. We're on our way to 350, and at 350, we're releasing the Sideline Sports giveaway. So make sure we continue to subscribe, continue to like everything. Thank you. First off, just thank you to everybody that's tuning in. But today's episode is over. I'm going to see you guys next week. And once again, thank you to Eric. And make sure to tune into the Centerlocked show.
Bueno Park is in the building. Bueno Park? What's the deal? Nothing but the homies out there. Nothing but the homies. What's up with the homies?
Who poppin', we poppin'.